Hello, my friends. It's Andy coming to you live from Orange County. And it is a Sunday. What a day. Actually, a couple days that I've had. It has been fantastic. And today is no different. The thing that came to mind today for this particular show, hello, people that are coming on and watching, go ahead and comment, please. That's the way the show gets shared out. As weak as Facebook is, and YouTube and Twitter and all those platforms, Twitch, who actually blocked my broadcast yesterday because of the title, it still helps to have you comment. It helps to have you share and like and do all the stuff and hit the little what are they called? Emotions. Is that what it's called? Those little things, that hearts and the thumbs up and that kind of stuff. Mostly hearts and thumbs up. Try not to hit the mean face or the crying baby thing. But today has a lot to do with truth. And I know I've been talking about it for several weeks, maybe even several months, is that the truth seems to be the kryptonite for the left, for Democrats and BLM and Black Lives Matter and Antifa. I think I said BLM and Black Lives Matter. Antifa, somehow the truth just seems to escape them or is not very interesting to them. And the lie is way more important. We learned in my book, which is not present, I'm always looking for it, How You Kill 11 Million People. You lie to them and you lie big and you lie often. Eventually they will believe it. And that is pretty much their motto. That has been the motto since the days of Marxism and communists started many, many moons ago. And in the book, Color, Common Sense, and Communism, again, in his book, he says the same thing. That was written in 1948. Talking about the left, talking about Marxists and communism, that the thing that they need to remember to do is lie often and make the lie big. The bigger the lie, the more likely they're actually going to believe it. So we're just going to talk a little bit like that about this in regard to why is the truth so hard and difficult for the left. Hey, Eb, nice to see you. But one thing I want to do before I take this off the screen, that is right up above me right here, usapatriotproject.com. Please go to that website right there, the .com, and that is where you will donate to help us get the project off the ground and get us broadcasting remotely and then in a static. We're going to change the whole way that this place looks to further the message of a conservative Christian platform and really support the politicians that are out there that support the conservative Christian platform, and then other people that are in our space, including pastors, counselors, coaches, anybody that really seems to be on board with turning our country around and bringing it back to its Christian roots is, I think, an important thing that we need to do, especially right now when you have some places in the United States, some churches that are really pushing it, and you can see that there's growth in those churches. Our church, Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills, that my family goes to, has seen a huge growth. As a matter of fact, he said, can you stop coming to the church? Because there's not enough parking, there's not enough space. You have other churches that are doing the same thing. You got Mark Driscoll over in Scottsdale, Arizona, same thing. And then you have other churches that are closing. The churches that are not teaching biblically and not staying true to God's word, you see them having less and a decline in their attendance and the people that are following them, and they're looking for other churches. Now that's happening here too. I know some churches here that have gone to the Black Lives Matter, gone to the Antifa way of thinking. I have some people that I used to go to church that have these really odd thoughts that I'm going to vote for Biden. Like, that is an odd thought, considering. And I'm going to show this one more time here. This is. I just kind of rearranged it just for three main things that are truthful. This is fact, right? You got the Democrats and liberals who don't mind killing 350,000 children in 1 year, but yet you'll hear them say, well, the president's killed 250,000 people with COVID-19, which is also a lie. So both are a lie, but they seem to be celebrating, like Andrew Cuomo over in New York, when he was able to get legislation passed to be able to kill babies all the way up to the 9th month. Late-term abortion, all the way up to birth. The mother could have a discussion with the doctor and say, you know, the baby's about ready to come out, but you can still abort the kid, that kind of thing. And they were celebrating it. As a matter of fact, they lit up the Trade Center because of the vote. But that is okay. They celebrate that, the 350,000 babies that are killed annually. But somehow the president is the worst president on the planet when he did not necessarily kill 250,000 people with the COVID-19, which again, he did way more than any other president ever would have. And there's plenty of examples of that if we were to go through. I've done a number of shows on it. There's no other president that has done as much as he has for a pandemic. Deportations. The Obama-Biden administration deported and arrested more illegal aliens than Donald Trump has in his 4 years in office. And then you have, yes, the Russian collusion. It was the Democrats who colluded with the Russians, not the Republicans. And so the lies, at least these three big lies right now, are the biggest lies that I can point to right now that we have proof. And I can show you any number of ways if you want to see that. But there's a faction of our country that still decides that we're gonna go with the lie. We're gonna vote with the Democratic Party. And then again, I don't think the numbers are as high as we have been told by the media either. Right? You're being told that that Biden got 80 million votes, which is just totally ridiculous. For a guy who never went out and actually campaigned, you're going to tell me that he got more votes than Obama did, and everybody seemed to love Obama, no matter how corrupt he was. You're telling me that Biden got more votes than Obama? You, even the left, do not believe that and do not think that's true. All right, so I want to go. I didn't read the daily devotional today, but I'm going to bring it up because there's the last paragraph in today's daily devotional, which I think speaks directly to. I'm sorry, I'm just getting rid of my frame here. Speaks directly to what it is I'm going to continue. I'm going to show two other pastors. One pastor is going to be talking biblically. The other pastor is my pastor, Jack Hibbs, who's going to be talking politically in the church at the beginning of today's message, which is also biblical, but it's a little bit more slanted on the political side of things. So let's first look at the devotion for the day. The devotion for the day is called The Supremacy of Jesus Christ. He will glorify me, John 16:14. But let's go to the last paragraph where it says, Jesus said, when he, the Spirit of truth, has come, he will glorify me. John 16:13 through 14. When I commit myself to the revealed truth of the New Testament, I receive from God the gift of the Holy Spirit, who then begins interpreting to me what Jesus did. The Spirit of God does in me internally all that Jesus Christ did for me externally. Now, obviously, what they're talking about, I think, it's a little bit more clearly. When they're talking about the truth, they're talking about the truth of Christianity, of God, of Jesus dying on the cross, being crucified, dying for our sins, and then coming back to life in the form of God and going to heaven, and now waiting for him to come back and take us off this miserable planet that we're on. So I think more that he's talking about that kind of truth, but the truth is still the truth. The truth obviously is important. Speaking the truth is what God wants us to do. And it's very clear that the Democrats and the liberals have no interest in the truth. They don't care that it's demonic. They don't care that what they're doing is destroying this country based on lies. These three lies alone are huge, right? If it was just these lies, maybe we can get through it, but there's so many lies that they tell on a daily basis. The media has no interest in the truth, right? When we're looking at the computer, like the laptop computer, like this one that Hunter Biden left at the repair shop, with all the truths that are coming out of that computer, the media wants you to know none of them. So the denial of showing you, or the blocking of showing you facts and truths, is also a lie. The fact that they're hiding it from you, the fact that Twitter and Facebook and YouTube will not allow anything in regard to the investigation involving that laptop and refusing to show you, is also a lie. The fact that they're not telling the truth about the election and everything that's happening in the election, every corrupt thing that they did to change the votes, to bring in these invalid mail-in votes, all the stuff that they're doing, again, refusing to show you CNN, MSDNC, MSNBC, whatever you want to call them. If it's ABC, NBC, CBS, if it's whatever show that you like to watch, other than, not even Fox is telling you the truth. In many cases, there's certain personalities on Fox that do, but there's many that don't. That the refusal of showing you what is actually happening in Philadelphia and Arizona and some of these other states, that Michigan, that have voter fraud, the fact that they're not showing you what's happening, again, is a form of lying and not telling the truth. So all of it, I believe, as I begin to study more in relationship to the Christian faith, that the aspect of lying is what's controlling our country and simply destroying our country. And the media has a huge part in this part of what's destroying our country. Let me show you what Mark Driscoll talks about here. It's short. The other one I'm going to show you with Jack Hibbs is a little bit longer. I'm going to save it till the end, and it'll be the last 7 or 8 minutes of the broadcast about what he's talked about in relationship about the media trying to tell you that Joe Biden won the presidency. That is not true. So I'm going to show you that last. But let me just tell you or show you what Mark Driscoll said. What happened to it? Oh, there it is. Sorry about that. I thought I lost it for a second. All right, so let me go ahead and bring this down. I'm going to bring you up this little message. It's short, I think, sometimes I get caught up in the videos, especially with Mark Driscoll, and I want to watch the whole thing. So what I remember that I want to show you is about 2 to 3 minutes long. Again, I may go a little bit longer because sometimes I get into it and don't want to take it off. First, let me look at this comment coming up here. Hey, Dixie, nice to see you. Yeah, a lot of people are late because sometimes they're not getting notifications. I'm not. You may have got the notification, Dixie, but I know a lot of people are telling me. I'm getting more and more messages from people on Messenger saying, "I saw you did a live earlier today, but I didn't get the notification like I normally do." So a lot of you are not getting the notifications. A lot of you actually are trying to comment. I've gotten messages from people that are trying to comment and they can no longer comment on the live. I don't know what it is. I don't even know how to fix that or tell you to go somewhere. So I'm telling a lot of people to go to, actually, let me put this up really quick before I forget. I'm going to put this other banner in the top here. You're going to see the AndyFalcoPodcast.com. Now you're not going to be able to comment on a podcast, but at least if I get shut down completely on Twitter and Twitch and Facebook and YouTube, at least you'll be able to hear. I just updated my podcast to the most recent shows. At least you can go there and still stay in contact while we're sorting it all out. I'm also on Rumble and I'm also on Parler. I just uploaded a bunch of videos from my Facebook Live onto those platforms too. So make sure and go to the Andy Falco Show on Parler, Andy Falco Show on. Actually, I just did a search on Parler and it wouldn't come up for some reason. I don't know why. I know I'm not getting blocked on Parler, but I don't know that they have something else going on. These new platforms are still a little bit clunky, and so not everything is working like it probably should. But I am on Parler. You're just going to have to find me. I do put a couple posts up here and there that you can see and just click on them, and it'll take you to my page. But I am on Parler and I am on Rumble. Sorry. So you might want to check those out. I got a notification. I was on a different channel, just got back. All right, cool. Hey, Kimberly, nice to see you. I appreciate you coming on. Parler is a pain. Yeah, Parler's not quite there yet, but either was Facebook, either was YouTube when it first started. I remember not really quite understanding some of those platforms. I couldn't figure out how to advertise on Facebook or YouTube. It was very difficult. They've even fixed that. So stay patient with these platforms like Parler and Rumble and some of the other ones. I think there's another one, not Nitwit. What's it called? Wit something. I forget what it's called. But they're all going to be a little bit clunky, and then things will improve. All right, let's go ahead and get to Mark's message here. And it talks a little bit about the devil. I know that tends to turn people off, people that are new to the Christian faith, and people kind of get nervous when somebody's talking about the devil. But this is where he's at, and this is what he's talking about when it comes to lies. And so I think it's an important message. So let's look at this one first. I'm going to bring myself down, make him the primary on the screen, get rid of my banner. And there we go. All right, here we go. Hold on. Oh, you know what? I'm going to come back. I got paranoid again that I did not click the box that allows the audio for the video to actually play. I get a little bit nervous that I don't click that I did this time. And there we go. All right, here we go.
Everything that God creates, Satan counterfeits. You need to know this. Politics is not neutral. Morality is not neutral. Sociology, anthropology, psychology, all of the ologies, they're not neutral. They're either communicating that which is consistent with the Creator or that which is counter to the Creator. The same is true even in the entertainment industry. The movies that we watch, the songs that we sing, the books that we read, the cultural narratives that we believe, are they in line with that which God creates? Or are they opposed and that which Satan counterfeits? So the next point is knowing these two categories. Part of spiritual warfare is discernment. Discernment is saying that is of the Lord, that is against the Lord, and being able to determine that comes from the kingdom of light, that comes from the kingdom of darkness. That's called discernment. God doesn't want you to be naive. God doesn't want you to be jaded. God wants you to be discerning. How many of you are more naive? You're just honest, right? I mean, don't raise your hand too high. Somebody will see it and they'll take advantage of you. Okay, don't raise it too high. You're like, I trust people. I love people. People have a good heart. I give them the benefit of the doubt. Good luck with that. How many of you were like that for a while and now you're jaded? You're like, I moved to Arizona because I can always carry a gun. I'm very jaded.
So that's the part right there I really wanted to focus on, and that is that we have a large number of people that are naive. We see it every day. I see people, very smart people in business, very smart people that have authored books, that I've worked with, very smart people that are in masterminds that I have, and they are I'm finding are naive because they look at these things that I wrote here, and this is one of the reasons I wrote them, especially when it comes to like deportations. I have a couple friends that one that goes to my church and another one that's in business, and they know who they are. I've commented on. So I'm not being mean by they know who they are. They know that we've had these discussions. I have another guy who's now since passed away who is the same thing. When we're talking about deportation, that it's all about, they hate Donald Trump because of what they've heard in relationship to his thoughts on our border. And when you really look at what he's done on the border, he's improved the border. Now we have less deaths at the border. We now have less people that are being arrested at the border. Because why? Because of the wall and the policies that they put into place. And there's less children being trafficked for sex crimes. There's less women being trafficked for sex crimes. The less human trafficking for slavery and that type of stuff. Mostly because of the great policies that he's put into place. And one of those things definitely is the building of the wall. And so when you look at this thing right here, you have naive people who believe that under the Obama-Biden administration, that somehow the border was more open, that less people were being arrested, less people were dying, less people were having problems at the border, when in fact, if we look at the graph here that I showed last night, I'll bring it back up again, is that you see on the left, all those high numbers in the red and the blue are deportations and arrests for illegal immigration. To the left, it's like the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. That's all the Obama-Biden administration. Those are all, look how high they are. Look how high the numbers are. And again, some of them, the red is the interior, and that means the people that are illegal that are found inside the country. And you see the high numbers there, the 257,000 people arrested that were in country. That means ICE went out to businesses that maybe employed illegal aliens. They went out and served warrants on illegal aliens that had criminal backgrounds or something going on where they had arrest warrants they needed. That's what they arrest. The red are the rest in the interior. And you see how high the numbers are. You go over to the right, for the 4 years from 3 years, 2016, 2017, 2018, look how low the numbers are for Trump. They're actually way lower. Look at the comparison, 229,000 compared to, I can't see the number because it's in the blue there and I can't see. Where's my glasses? Hold on. I got to look at the number. 69,000, 65,000, 81,000, and 95,000. So that the last 3 years, 16, 17, and 18, 65,000, 81,000, 95,000. That's in the Trump administration. In the Obama-Biden administration, you have as high as 230,000, actually 238,000 arrests in the interior. When you look at the border, so border removals, they're as high as 235,000 in the Obama-Biden administration, and the high is 174,000 for the Trump administration. And so again, the naive people, the people that don't do their research, is the problem that we have with our media, that we have with Pelosi and Schumer and Adam Schiff and other these people that get these platforms and they begin to speak out. And who are we losing in regard to who they're voting for? Are the people that are naive. And you hear that all the time. I have people message me or they'll put a comment and say, I don't watch the news because I just hate it. It makes me sad. I just watch a little bit. And if they're watching CNN, we got a huge problem. Because if they're watching just enough to hear that Donald Trump is a racist, that he's arresting all these Mexicans because they're Mexican, these killing children that have COVID-19, this number right here, 33 are the number of children possibly. It was more of a comment than any kind of research, but I don't even think the number's that high of children who have died of COVID-19 in the entire United States. And yet we're closing our schools and people go, well, it's not for children, it's that they're going to catch it and bring it home. You want to hear the truth? I had COVID-19. My girlfriend had COVID-19. We both had COVID-19. We both have children. None of our children caught COVID-19. Not one. And we were in the homes. We may have been quarantining in our bedroom, but my daughter, who's 12, who has asthma, which I was very hopeful that she would not catch it, she would come into my room and sit on the edge of my bed and bring me food and bring me breakfast and lunch when I was very, very sick, probably at the height of my illness. She did not catch COVID-19. None of them did. I have a 7-year-old, I have a 10-year-old, I have a 12-year-old, I have a 14-year-old, and a 26-year-old. All of them here in my home while I was here sick with COVID-19. Not one of them caught COVID-19. Not one of them took it out of this home and got anybody infected. Same thing with my very young girlfriend who had COVID-19. Her daughter, who's 13, did not catch COVID-19. She has a 21-year-old person that also lives in the same home. She did not catch COVID-19. And so this is the ridiculousness of these numbers. They're so low and ridiculous that it's lunacy. The children since then have gone, my children had gone to a home where their mother lives, and there's a 91-year-old woman. She has not caught COVID-19 from any of the kids leaving my home. None of them. So it's just baffling when we think about closing our schools, closing our economies, closing our world because of the lies that you're being told about COVID-19. And yet they say nothing about the 350,000 children that are being killed annually by Democratic and liberal policies. That they cheer, that they're so happy about. But yet they come back and say, Donald Trump is killing people. He wants an open country. He's a maniac. He's stupid. And yet we had a virus. We had a, what's it called? The solution. What's the solution called? The shot that you get, a vaccine. Sorry, I need help from my studio audience. You get a vaccine. And I don't care whether you believe in vaccines or not, or whether you're going to get one. That's not the point. Vaccines usually take years to be thought about, created, and then approved, gone through all the testing, and then be approved for people to use. Years. He's been able to do it in less than a few months. Yet he's still the most horrible president on the planet, and they're already shipping it out. He put 2 floating hospitals on the East Coast and the West Coast, completely equipped and prepared for COVID-19 and other types of patients. They went unused. The Army went out and created hospitals in convention centers and in stadiums, hardly used. This you're not being told. The 250,000 people that they claim died of COVID-19, it is believed that 40% of them did not die of COVID-19. They're thinking there's 40% that died and happened to have COVID-19, but they died of either a heart attack, they died of cancer, they died of a car accident, they've died of a whole number of other things, but also had COVID-19, and they're going down as COVID-19 deaths. If we were to take 40% of those people out, that number is much lower. Now you take out all the elderly people that Andrew Cuomo killed with his horrible policies by taking COVID-19 patients and putting them in the nursing homes, you take out another 20%. And you're down to what? Out of the entire world, the number of people that have died in the United States is so infinitesimal. Do people dying, is that a good thing? No. The number doesn't matter whether it's 1 or 200 people. No, it doesn't matter. It's all bad. But what you're looking at is, and you are clearly looking at the numbers, liberals and Democrats, and you're saying, Donald Trump killed 250,000 people. For number one, he did not. But again, I go back to this number. You don't care that 350,000 children, most of them black communities who you claim to be more in tune with than Republicans, which is also not true. We've had more Hispanics and blacks vote in this election for Donald Trump than ever before. But you have this whole claim. And so again, I go back to the lies and the deceit and the demonic way that our country's being communicated with through liberal media, through social media, the tyrants that run these social media platforms. Then you have people that are just so crazy nuts about certain things on comments. And they again, it is the naive. I think that's mostly the victim to lies and deceit that we need to worry about. And it's sad because some of them are getting so upset. You've seen some of the pictures of these people screaming and yelling about, Gator, what's her name? The Bader Gunswit, whatever the Supreme. Yeah, that chick, that Ruth lady that died. How when she died, people were going crazy. No, we're not going to be able to kill babies. We're not. And they're going crazy because they think the abortion, that's their whole platform. And then Amy's going to come in and take all that away. They're crazy about that, but they're not crazy about these other things. And other things are being lied about. And you see that, right? Those are naive people that really don't understand what's happening in this world, that don't have faith, don't have Christianity, don't have God in their life, because if they did, they wouldn't be going crazy for this number. They'd be going crazy for this number. That is what we need to change. That is why we created the Patriot Project. And that's why it's important to get conservative Christian values and thoughts and understand that our country was based off of Christian thoughts and rules and laws, much of it coming out of the Bible. Why? Because that's the best way to run a country, to tell you the truth. And I know atheists and all these other people are going to say, well, no, that's not. Yes, it is true. Because everything that's in our Constitution, everything that you can see was based off of mostly Christian thoughts and process, because many of them start with God somewhere in the sentence, or has God in some of the platforms, or some of the writings when it comes to the Constitution and amendments and that type of stuff. Often God is mentioned on our money. God is mentioned. And so you can't get away from it and not understand why it's important that it's in there. It's just a thought. You don't have to be Christian to live in this country. Obviously, we live in one of the most diverse country on the planet. You can go almost anywhere and not see the diversity you see here in the United States, even Canada. All right. And so you just have to understand that our country is one of the best countries on the planet for diversity, for not being racist, and that we're a giving country. And the people that give the most to other countries, the people that give the most within the United States of America are churches in the Christian faith, are the strongest givers when it comes to helping people that are either poor, people that are struggling, people that have been victims of some type of disaster. The first people that go out are the churches and the Christian faith that go out there and help these other people that are struggling. So that's important. Let me see some of these comments. Girlfriend? Yes, I know. It kind of slipped out. And so I hope people listen to you so much. Thank you. I appreciate that. Facts are stubborn things. I know. Facts don't care about your feelings. Who says that? Charlie Kirk says that. Facts don't care about your feelings. The facts are the facts. Canada is much worse. Trudeau is a jackhole. Yeah, I'd actually call him something much stronger than that. But I have such good Canadian friends, and I feel so bad that when I talk about Canada, I feel bad because I love Canada. I love playing hockey in Canada. I love traveling through Canada. I love dog training in Canada. As a matter of fact, people often ask me back in the day, they said, "Are you Canadian? Because you have an accent." It's because I was in Canada so often doing stuff in Canada that I think that I caught an accent that I would bring back, and it would last for a couple of days. Hey, Mark, nice to see you. Why are there 25 million unregistered evangelical voters? I don't know. It's crazy, but that's part of why I created, along with Hedy Maramati, why I created the USA Patriot Project, because I think it's that important to figure out why there's 25 million unregistered evangelical voters. It is odd, but that's what you're gonna hear. They all need to belong to my church, or at least they need to follow the church online. And I'm going to play that for you in just a couple of seconds. And what I'm about to play for you is why our church is so different than others. Jack Hibbs is the pastor at my church, and he talked about when he gave the same message earlier in the first service that some people walked out. And that's not unusual. Again, it brings me back to the truth. The truth has this weird effect on people these days. The truth used to be a good thing. Right? Facts used to be a good thing. The real science, not fake science, real science used to be a good thing. So you take science, facts, and truth, you put those things together along with this book right here, the Bible, and it's actually pretty good. Even though it's even good for atheists, it's even good for Muslims, it's even good for other people that live in our country. If we were to stick to facts, science, and truth, and biblical teachings, this country would be way better off. And I know it rubs people the wrong way. And I know it hurts. And I know that I have a number of people that no longer are my friends because of my feelings. But again, truth doesn't care about your feelings. The truth is the truth. And that's the thing that we need to come back to and bring some of these people back to voting that need to vote. I just saw a message coming there. I got a message from somebody. All right, my friends. So I'm going to bring you to how the messages start today. Or how my church service started today. And I'm going to put a link. Hold on. Let me actually find this link first. Here we go. So I'm going to copy and paste. I'm going to put this in the comments. This is the entire message on Facebook, not on YouTube, of Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. The pastor of the church is Jack Hibbs. And again, you need to follow him on YouTube and all the other platforms that you can find him on. He's also on Parler and Rumble. I just found that out today. And you're going to want to listen to the entire message. But I'm going to play the beginning of his message today, which was, again, mostly political, but it is based on biblical teachings. But I think it's so important for me to share. It's about 7 minutes long, so it's a little bit long. But I feel like I should do this because you may not be following necessarily me and the messages that I'm sharing in regard to my church. I think my church does a great job of helping the congregation understand why it's important that our church is involved politically, and why it's important for every church should be involved politically in the United States of America. Because again, it's that important. How this happens. This is how 350,000 babies get killed annually because the churches wasn't involved. They thought that, well, we'll just let them, deal with it. And then next thing you know, you got 350,000 babies that are being killed. Right? It's because we let it go. We were asleep. We were asleep at the switch. Evangelicals, Christians did not pay attention. They weren't paying attention to what was happening. And this is how this happens. This is how all this happens. This is how the Russian collusion happened, because we allowed the demons of the Democratic Party and the liberals to come into our country and essentially begin destroying our country. And now we're at a time right now where we are in a little bit of a civil war. And it's probably going to get worse before it's going to get better. It does not matter. I'm going to give you one more warning. And again, I hate to tell you this on a Sunday, but it doesn't matter whether all the lawsuits come out into favor of Donald Trump or go against Donald Trump. Whoever comes into power, there's going to be a little bit of a war, right? And you already know if Donald Trump is successful in court and he gets another 4 years, stand by. Everybody, you may need to actually go out there and get some toilet paper and some paper towels because it's going to be bad. But if Biden gets in there, which we know is one of the dumbest things that it is just ridiculous. I've done enough shows on it that I'm not going to go all into it. But eventually they voted for this body that no longer has a brain. And then eventually we're going to have this other lady in there, this Kamala Harris, who she has a brain, but it's not it's not functioning on all cylinders. Both of them running our country is bad, right? Because they really aren't going to be running our country, because neither one of them are smart enough to do it. They're going to have people like Bernie Sanders, AOC, Talib, whatever her name is, and these other people that are going to be coming in with their Marxist, socialist platforms, and they're going to essentially try to destroy our country. Thank God we're probably going to have enough people in the Senate and the Congress. I hope we have this vote coming up in Georgia that we're going to make sure and hopefully win some of those seats that will keep us from going down this road of socialism for 4 years. And hopefully we'll be able to come back on 2024 and bring our country back. If Biden becomes president. All right. So I'm going to share this message. This is an important message. I would stick it out for the 7 minutes that I'm going to share with you. It's something like 6 or 7 minutes. And this is my church. This is a church. You have a tough time finding any other church doing what our great pastor does. He has the cojones to do what he's about to do, or what I'm about to show you. And he did it on 3 different services today. And I think it's important. So here we go. So I'm going to share the screen there and bring Pastor Jack on. And, I'm already minimized here. Let me fix that. Here we go. All right, here we go.
You guys, now listen, before we get into the study today, I have to, as a pastor, I must do what I'm about to do. It might upset you, but before you leave, like some people left at first service, let me finish the announcement, or I should say, it's not an announcement, the exhortation. How's that? Exhortation of warning. As a pastor, I'm supposed to call out falsehood, deception, and it's not limited to theological things. If somebody has lied to you and swindled you out of something in the church family, I'm supposed to know that the church is supposed to know and deal with that kind of stuff. Well, in this case, you're being swindled. Every single one of us, if you are allowing this to take place, what I'm going to show you in a moment, you're allowing yourself to be robbed. And you need to know this. I'm going to show you some things. I'm going to ask you to not laugh, because this is dead serious. You're being lied to. You're being deceived. It's intentional. It's well engineered and well organized. And if you don't agree with this lie right now, as of now, then you could get beat up. You could get fired from your job if you don't believe this lie. Are you ready? First slide. Listen, I just asked you not to laugh. This is dead serious. This is demonic. I'm going to prove it to you in a moment. By the way, I'm not picking on Joe Biden right now. You've missed it. I'm picking on Time Magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, for anyone who cares anymore about the truth, all they had to do is put a question at the end of the word states, and it would have rendered this news cover magazine somewhat accurate anyway. Joe Biden is not the 46th president of the United States. Look, wait, listen. That's not been determined. You need to think about this for a minute. This is so serious. Because your logic and mind and thinking is being driven by a narrative, and it's clearly the media. You may have seen that picture and thought nothing wrong with it. That's how duped we're becoming. Now, I posted something on Facebook the other day. I was advised not to do it. But it struck a nerve. And it will strike a nerve today. Okay, so here's my Facebook post. I said, this is a test. Can you answer the below questions regarding, quote, the office of the president-elect? Then you hit see more. What year was the office of the president-elect created? Listen, Kate, listen. It's a question. I want you to think about it. Everything you see on TV right now in print media is from the office of the president-elect. You were given a Thanksgiving greeting from the office of the president-elect. You see that federal insignia back there in gold? So you need to answer this question. What year was the office of the president-elect created? Number two, what department of government oversees the office of the president-elect? Is it the United States Senate? Maybe it's the House of Representatives. Maybe it's the Supreme Court. Can you explain the image in the link below? But first, as a hint, it's false. It doesn't exist. It's Joe's and the DNC's invention, and many unlearned people are falling for it. The media, I call them co-conspirators, are without question pushing this lie. The election must first be certified by each state. That's not happened yet. In fact, it's not going to happen for a while now, if you're watching what's going on. Number two, the Electoral College must vote first. You don't have a president-elect until they say so. You understand? That's the law. That's not happened yet. The winner has to receive 270 of the 530 Electoral College votes before you can have a president-elect. Even still, there's no office of the president-elect. So I want to ask you, what in the world's going on? There's no such office. If you think this is an anomaly, just wait. But people who don't know one stitch of civics are suckers for this. And you know them. There is such a manipulation out there going on. I thank God that we have a constitution still. And that is the answer. That is the determining power. How these 56 signers 230 years ago wrote this stuff up anticipating such things. They were geniuses. But dear friends, you need to be aware of a big fat lie that's out there. There is no office of president-elect, and there is no president-elect yet, because it's not happened, because the election is in huge debate and criminal activity being initiated to be investigated. Pennsylvania, Michigan, Wisconsin, Arizona, Georgia, and I'm getting pretty excited because there's a team of investigators in California. So whoever you're rooting for, don't get too excited yet because nothing's legal. And some people can't handle that because that's just too much truth for them. They love the media lie. Well, I thank God that we are a nation of and how it goes and ends. And how it goes and ends is how it goes and ends. It's got to go. But it's got to go until it gets to the end. Until it gets to the end. Okay, it's very important. Church, I'm going to ask you to stand right now and open your Bibles. Church, I'm going to ask you to stand right now and open your Bibles this morning. And we are going to be looking at today.
All right, my friends. So you heard a couple things that I've talked about before, and that was he said something about the unlearned or the naive, right? And that's our problem. When you have these stories about the office of the president-elect, when you have people telling you that he's the president-elect when nothing has been done yet for him to be able to claim, or anybody able to claim that he's the president-elect, is that you have naive, unlearned people that think that what they're hearing in the media is the truth. What they're hearing, or seeing that their friends are posting on social media is the truth. It is not. And that is the problem, is that there's so much untruths. That's right? Untruths being told out there. Looking at my studio audience for helping it. And lies, essentially just lies being told. And it's something we have to fight against. And that is why we need Christian conservative voices always out there. We're going to get blocked, just like I'm being blocked. We're going to get throttled. We're going to get, you have a number of people like Charlie Kirk and who else? A number of other people who've had their accounts completely shut down. Even PayPal has shut some people down. I want to say that Venmo, or it was one of the other ones that also shut down their account, so they can no longer get paid through YouTube and that kind of stuff. It's just it's the truth. The truth is obviously something that people no longer want to hear, and they don't want to put it out there. So I put my URL up there, uspatriotproject.com. Go to that URL, and that's where you'll be able to, for at least for now, because what I'm using is Stripe and PayPal. That you can use either one of those platforms to help us get this project up off the ground so that we can get out there. And that would be a great place for you to go. If you change the .com to .org, that'll send you to the website where you can see more of the stuff that we are planning to do. The website will be changing often, so make sure and bookmark it so you can see some of the things. I'll be putting some of the videos on there. And that may be the location where I have to put, because I can use an RTMP code within the website to actually go live on the website too. Just have to go through a little bit of work to be able to do that. I have to get some help on that one with Kajabi to be able to do that. So all that's the place you need to go. So bookmark both uspatriotproject.com and .org. And that's the date as to what we're doing. And I'll be telling you how you can help. And then some of the projects and programs we'll be having out there to help men be stronger men and women be stronger women. We have a couple things and ideas that we're going to be doing. As a matter of fact, we may be going to a church in the next couple of weeks where they do some really good training there. And I brought him up before, Mark Driscoll over at Trinity Church in Scottsdale, Arizona. I just want to look at a couple of these comments before I get off here. Carol, love it. Thank you. I'm so happy that you love it. That makes me happy. It's too bad you're not in California. I know you keep wanting me to go, what are you, North Carolina, South Carolina? I'm so sorry. I always forget where you're at. I was very close to getting out of the state, but we need people to fight for the state. I grew up in the state. The state is amazing what we have here. We could, in one day, you could go to the beach and surf. Not that I would have done this, but I used to surf back, years ago. But you could go and surf, and then in the same day, you could drive up to the mountains and ski in one day. You can go down to San Diego and go to SeaWorld. You can go up to Hollywood and see the handprints and footprints, shoe prints in the cement there in Hollywood. You could do a whole, wineries. This is one of the best states, and the weather is hardly ever bad. And so to abandon this state and let it just die with feces in San Francisco on the ground, we have an app on your phone so that you can report human feces on the ground and the urination that you get out of in Los Angeles, like I have near the federal court where I've had to testify a couple of times, and it smells of urine and human waste. That it's just, who's going to stay and fight and not allow this state, which is essentially bigger than most countries. The economy is larger than most countries. We can just allow it to fall. Somebody has to stick around. And for right now, I just feel like this is the place that I need to be and need to start this movement. And like Pastor Jack said, they're doing some stuff here in California. They're investigating the election, because I don't believe it either. I'm convinced that this state is red right now. And a lot of people don't believe me. They think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you, I've experienced things here with the rallies that we've been doing and a lot of other things that it just doesn't make sense. Now, I know that there's a large number of liberals in Hollywood and that kind of stuff, a lot of money, but I'm not convinced that in regard to all the people that voted that and if we're not red, we're not that far from being red. The majority of the world is sleepwalking through their lives on autopilot. It's time for lazy sheeple to engage in critical thinking and pass that practice along to future generations. Absolutely. Wow, April, this is a great. I'm gonna save this one too. Complacency can no longer be an excuse for blind compliance. I love that. That is really good. Seriously, in the age of information, ignorance is a choice. Absolutely. GoFundMe is also blocking Trump supporters. Is it really? I didn't hear that. I'm gonna check on that a little bit more, but I believe it because they're all being run by liberal people, right? And they've gone nuts. And who's making the most money, right? You got the liberals who believe that capitalism is horrible, but who's making the most money under this pandemic, right? The same billionaires with Amazon and Twitter and Facebook and all these people are making huge amounts of money. The very people that they seem to rail against, the liberals have claimed that they're not going to take any big donations for any of these large corporations, and yet they do. And also they're supporting and building an opportunity for these big companies like Walmart and whatever other company out there who's killing the little guy. They're shutting down the country, which is essentially killing all the mom and pop restaurants, all the mom and pop stores, all the mom and pop feed stores in regard to dogs and cats and horses, and they're killing those people by these shutdowns and restaurants. If I didn't mention restaurants earlier, but who's actually surviving and doing well are the big corporations that they somehow say are evil and racist and demonic themselves, and yet they're the one that's who's doing the best during these shutdowns. It really, they are whacked out of their mind. They're just crazy. North Carolina, I knew it was one of those Carolinas. You can paddleboard or hike here too. Yes, I abandoned California. Yes, Carol, I know you abandoned California. How dare you? All right, let's see. Hey, Kelly, can you stir the soup really quick? I think it needs a big stir. We've taken back so many House seats. We have to be more red right now. Carl, you're right. We did win. And I talked about this before, that we have the 3 school board members that are Republican conservatives here at the Central Yorba Linda School District. They won. You have the Huntington Beach Congresswoman who won. You have Chino Hills Congresswoman who won. And then we had a guy in Pasadena, I believe, not too long ago, one of those LA cities. Simi Valley. Mike Garcia in Simi Valley won. And so, yeah, I don't believe it. I really do think California is a lot more red than people are really willing to give us credit. We're not that far off. So we just need to keep on going. Oh, no prayers for your stepdad. Who's stepdad? Sorry, I missed it. Somebody mentioned the stepdad. I'm so sorry. FYI, they have moved my stepdad into COVID unit. Oh, I'm so sorry, Carol. We'll be praying for him. He does not have COVID, elderly abuse. Oh, that sucks. I didn't mention, I just real quick before I leave, I mentioned that I had COVID-19. My girlfriend had COVID-19. We have small children. None of them caught it. We talked about that. But on my show the other day, I talked about that you also have a large number of people that aren't going to the doctor because of COVID-19, that there was a long space, and it still continues to this day, where they're saying, call us or do something over Zoom with the doctor and have these discussions about how you're feeling. And I know that when I went to the emergency room twice before they knew I had COVID-19, I was sent back home. Right? And so they're not seeing people like they normally do. And if it's okay, I'm going to mention a very close friend of mine who has a father who actually is a doctor who did not go to the doctors. Right. I'm not sure because of COVID-19, but, people are supposedly dying at the hospital. And then it turns out that they have cancer. They have a huge tumor. Now, whether he would have gone to the doctors without COVID-19 or not, I don't know. But that's not an isolated story. You have a large number of people who are not going to the doctors, not going to the hospitals because they were not seeing people for elective things, and they were not going because they were told if you go to the doctors you're going to die, or you can't go to the doctors because you're going to take up a doctor, you're going to take up a nurse who could treat this huge problem that they were claiming that they had at these hospitals. And so people were not getting MRIs, they were not getting colonoscopies, they were not getting other procedures to find out where they were and whether they had cancer or not. And so now, because it's been 3 months, 6 months, or 7 months, however long it's been since they first started having some of their symptoms, and they thought, well, maybe it'll just go away. Maybe it's just heartburn. Maybe it's just that I have, diarrhea, whatever that is. And now they go in, now the tumor that they would have caught 6 months ago and they would have got it early would not have been a big issue. But now it's a foot and a half long. And all these kinds of things. And so you have a whole bunch of people. We forgot about all those people that are not getting treated, not getting diagnosed, not finding out that they have stuff that if they would have got it early, that now they would not be dying of COVID-19 without COVID-19. They're dying because of COVID-19 because they didn't go to the doctors and get treated, did not get identified as having something that could have been treated early on. And now they are in huge trouble and problems because of that thing. So I'm sorry. I thought about the other day. I wanted to talk about that yesterday and didn't talk about it, but it is a problem that we also need to understand, along with suicide, along with depression and anxiety and all the other things, alcoholism, and overdosing on narcotics. Because why? Because they're sitting at home doing nothing else. And all the other stuff, the other moral things that they're doing that they shouldn't be doing, and destroying their soul, because they are depressed and anxious and they have nothing else to do. It's just, and they're talking about shutting down our country again for 6 months. If Biden gets in, that's what he's going to do. And he's already said it, right? He's going to have a mask mandate and he's going to shut down our country for another 6 months. That is not going to do anything but kill people. And so we have a huge problem. All right. Sorry, last one. Same here. Been in the ER twice in the last week. No COVID. Some else serious enough, but they sent me home when I should have been admitted. I don't want to talk bad about Kaiser, but because they did an amazing job once they found out I had COVID-19. But the second time I went to the emergency room, they put me out in the parking lot on a folding chair for 3.5 hours. And it was one of the worst days that I had. And that was not good. Why? Because I had not been diagnosed with COVID-19 yet, and they didn't know what to do with me. And so they said, go sit in the folding chair. And I sat there for 3.5 hours, and it was miserable. I was not a happy camper. And then they sent me home. I got sent home. I returned because I had trouble breathing, and then they admitted me. So I've told you that having COVID-19, one of the best things that happened to me over the last 2020, there's a lot of things that are some of the best things that happened in 2020, because it gave me information. It allowed other great things to happen within my family. And so I choose to look at the positive. And so I've kind of left the couple of negative things out, but I have experienced some things that could have been done better. And it's because of the lies that people are being told. All right. And so I want to make sure that, and end on that note, that this is what the show is all about: getting the truth, hearing facts, not being afraid of facts, protecting the naive and the unlearned, the people that are just simply afraid of learning something new and hearing the truth. We have to do something to help the naive in this case, because they're being told a lot of things that just are simply not true. All right, my friends, got to finish making dinner here for the kids. It's getting late. They got school tomorrow, and they get to go back to school tomorrow. They've been quarantined because I got sick with COVID-19, and tomorrow's their first day back to school for at least 3 of them. 3 of the 4 are going back to school. So we're going to have a good day tomorrow. Carl Whitty, nice to see you. Oops, sorry. The guy who likes to quote the palmist fractured his ankle today. Maybe he had a stroke. oh God. I hope not. All right, my friends. I love you guys. God bless. And have a great rest of your Sunday and a great, great week. We'll be praying for all of you, and Carol's stepdad, who is a victim of elder abuse. We're going to make sure and pray for him tonight for his healing. All right, my friends. I love you. God bless.